Border officials in San Diego say they've seized over $4 million worth of fentanyl in just the last week alone, with agents discovering enough of the drug to kill more than 30 million people. This all comes as a top DEA official is sending a chilling warning to House lawmakers about the Mexican cartels who control the supply of fentanyl into our country.
The Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels pose the greatest criminal drug threat the United States has ever faced. These ruthless, violent criminal organizations have associates, facilitators, and brokers in all 50 states. The cartels are destroying families and communities with callous indifference and greed.
Victor Avila is a retired ICE and HSI special agent whose partner was killed by drug cartels, and he joins me now. Victor, has the Biden administration been transparent enough with the American people on just how active the cartels are in our 50 states? Because, Victor, as you know, they're here.
They're absolutely here. And unfortunately, the Biden administration will not react to the imminent threat that we face from these cartels. And I agree with the Drug Enforcement Administration. When I worked in Mexico as a narcotics agent and along the border, I dealt with the Sinaloa cartel. The cartel Jalisco New Generation was up and coming. And yes, the Sinaloa cartel is possibly the most powerful cartel in the world. The Jalisco Generation cartel has billions of dollars to operate. You see these videos with the amount of equipment and money that they have. But yes, they're the ones responsible for bringing the fentanyl, the methamphetamine. And let's not forget that they are now have included themselves in the human trafficking and human smuggling as well, because they're making billions of dollars on that end as well right now.
The worrisome thing to me, Victor, is that no matter how much by we I mean Fox and people like yourself, highlight the problem, it's getting worse. It's not getting better. Let's take a look at CBP's fentanyl seizures at the southern border. Last year marked a record high, 14.1 thousand pounds seized. But get this, just 3 months into fiscal 2023, we're on pace to break that record with over 7.2 thousand pounds already seized. How do we reverse this trend?
Todd, myself, and a lot of other colleagues are screaming it at the top of our lungs, and you're right. We can't seem to get their attention. And let me tell you about these seizures. When they're great, and I welcome these huge seizures because they're good and they're keeping this poison off of the streets. But I'll tell you one thing: when I saw the seizures go up, when I worked these narcotics on the border, that wasn't a good thing, because the higher the seizures, that means that it's coming in through every porous part of our southern border. And let's not forget the maritime issue as well, as it comes to our seaports as well. So it's a really big issue here. And let's not forget about the victims here of the fentanyl and the families that have been affected and lost their loved ones. This is where the administration needs to focus and pay attention to these families. These are real people that have lost their loved ones to this poisoning, and the connection that this poison has to China and the relationship they have in Mexico with these cartels, and that flow that continues to come in here. We need to designate these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations to finally do something about this. No longer are the days of investigating these cartels for 2 years and I arrest you and I'm going to build the case. That doesn't work anymore, Todd. We have to now go above and beyond to take them out.
Obviously, this all comes down to Joe Biden securing the border. None of this would happen if he actually did his job and secured the border. But assuming he doesn't do that, what would you do if you were in charge to target these cartels, which basically, according to my sources, have become nation states? It's basically like Mexico's two countries, the quote-unquote government and these cartels. What would you do to target them?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. There's a parallel government being run by the cartels in Mexico. And the first thing I would do is designate them as FTOs. We have to do that. It would bring DOD resources. We would cut them at their assets, seize all their assets all over the world, not just in Mexico. Like DEA mentioned, they're heavily present in the United States and 40 to 50 countries around the world. We need to attack them differently. We don't need to spend so much time investigating them anymore. Plus, of course, it's the border. We need to get our agents back on the line. 80% of our Border Patrol agents are not patrolling the southern border. They're processing illegal aliens coming into the country. So we need to get back to enforcing our own laws. Simple as that. Give them back the authority and let's take them down.
Also, We got to hold Mexico accountable, and we can't have a Three Amigos summit, which is basically the Lego movie theme song, Everything is Awesome. Everything is not awesome. They got to do something down there in Mexico to stop this, and they're doing nothing. Victor, thank you for your time this morning and insight, and thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate it.